Good evening and welcome to Hudson Valley Week in Review, where we look back at the people, places, and issues making news in Ulster County and the region. I'm Amy Greene. Tonight we dedicate this program to the Kingston Mayor's message delivered this week by Mayor Shayne Gallo. The Mayor's fourth annual address focused on the positives surrounding Kingston as part of an ongoing effort to make it what Gallo calls a model city. We now turn to the Mayor's message.
When I was sworn into office, I stated our city had become a tale of two cities. It was balkanized and separated into three neighborhoods, business districts with our city government disconnected from most of all our stakeholders. Well, why? At that time, our nation was under siege by corporate thugs and indifferent politicians in D.C., the resulting of which we had a housing meltdown, a financial sector meltdown, and what did that do? It all coalesced to create a national malaise which not only affected the nation's economy, but also the state and regional and local economy, and left us polarized from one another. So that's why our city back then, 4 years ago, was balkanized. It was separate. People were disconnected from their government. And at that time, I pledged to create a partnership of all stakeholders to connect everyone in our city, to their city government, and to address their quality of life, their public safety concerns, which the only way you're ever going to obtain economic development, people, as you all know, is if you address your own backyard first. And that comes down, to quality of life. That comes down to public safety. And as the result of that, you plant seeds for employment opportunities, and you attract people to want to come into our community, to want to live, work, and play, and invest. So to that end, I stated that we had a potential to be a model city. And indeed, I think we're on our way. I'm here, with all due respect, to report that this partnership has, in fact, put us on the right path, on the right trajectory, if you will, to becoming a model city. And I stated that as part of this pledge, with this partnership, we need a new paradigm of governing. And that simply means we need to focus on restructuring, reinventing a government that's more transparent, that's more accessible, that's more fair, that's more open, and more efficiently uses your tax dollars at a time when there ain't much going around here, as you're all aware. You have to implement, when feasible, cost savings to improve technology, i.e. including but not limited to equipment for the public works, etc., but the LED initiative that the council just adopted, recently, where we can go forward, because that initiative could save the taxpayers approximately $300,000 to $400,000 annually. You're talking about $30,000 a month. So we already are. I've already been given authorization, to have a design study for that initiative. And then from that, what happens, is then the specs are developed, it's put out to bid, and then the project is implemented. So I'm very, very, very optimistic that we stay the course. We're going to, in next year's budget, probably have the savings that we're so desperately needing. This initiative, too, by the way, goes back to Mayor Satile. And it's been on my capital plan for 4 years. 4 years it's been on the capital plan. So we're respectfully requesting that the council, with its infrastructure committee, start to get busy. And I know they've had one meeting, and I know Councilperson Mills has been steadfast, but the other two councilpersons, they haven't scheduled meetings, they're not contacting my office for information, and we have a number of projects in this city that need to be done. I'm hoping that when we have the gap study, which is an assessment, Barton and Judas, who are here this evening, to take a look at our infrastructure and then provide a report as to the status of it, will then prod the council committee, to actually act and be more engaged when it comes to, working with the mayor's office to try to deal with these infrastructure projects that go back, in some instances, 5, 10 years. Building and safety. Under the direction of Chief Mark Brown and his building and safety crew, thank you very much. I have to say that we have more responsive enforcement of the building and safety and zoning codes. The same has resulted in more efficient use of tax dollars. I got to say that the dedication of personnel specifically to multiple dwellings, vacant buildings, abandoned property, unsafe and dilapidated, has reaped incredible return in the neighborhoods throughout the city. It's resulted in properties being appreciated in value, their assessments increasing. It's resulted also in interest in those neighborhoods, but what it really results in is empowering people in a neighborhood to want to feel good about their block and want to be able to get out there and be involved so that they all have a stake, okay, in their neighborhood. And the Building and Safety Division, with what you're doing in that area, is fantastic. We hired a bilingual part-time code enforcement officer dedicated specifically to Midtown to help us with the Latino population. It's been very, very successful dealing with those landlords. Block by block, it was started under Mayor Satile, and it's a very, very good program where literally the fire department, other city agencies go from block by block throughout the city and try to assess building code violations, zoning. We even send the dog warden out. And it's very successful because it then has a positive impact on each neighborhood, and it empowers people to want to take ownership of their respective neighborhoods. We have to also continue coordinating. I see some people from Historic Pres and Landmarks and Heritage, Planning, Assessor's Office, Corporation Council. These other agencies have to be involved, okay? Anything to do with building and safety and zoning, so that we're all working together on the same page to ensure the quality of life and code enforcement and our neighborhoods, okay, are intact. The Arts Council, now with the Arts Council, I see some members over here, right over here. This is exciting too, because we've created what's called Kingston 365, because you probably have just about every week or weekend something to do in this community. Be it cultural, art, whatever the case may be. And the folks over here in the Arts Council, we meet once a month, just like with the seniors. We've done a number of things. Aside from create the Facebook page, we've also had a biennial sculptor exhibit, which this year the Rear Center's involved, and it's going to be an immigrant story. And I think they're going to be going to various locations in the city, okay, various architectural, historical sites, and try to really capture, you know, the connection to Kingston's immigrant story. You know, this, like what I'm going to call in a couple minutes, Lunch Bucket Kingston. And that's exactly what we are, Lunch Bucket Kingston. And the Arts Council, right now, we had a meeting last fall where we invited 120 arts and tech businesses in the Midtown area, 120. About 70 showed up. Extrapolated out of that were the following. The Art District, which is part of the master plan, comprehensive plan, okay, analysis. Additionally, what was taken out of that was that we want to take, which I see Councilperson Dawson here, we want to establish another Midtown business group that would be separate, but would be connected to the arts. The Arts Council right now is working with Corporation Council's Weeben, okay, to draft a resolution for the City Council to review and to consider for establishing a council, an arts council. So what we've done is recognize that, like in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, and other national publications have said, Kingston has more artists per capita than any other city outside of New York City. So if we don't recognize who's here, what they do, and arts are more than just the genre of painting. They could be graphics, visual, it could be recording, it could be film production. So you have a variety, a menu, if you will, that our artists, okay, offer, and it does connect to the technology, and it connects to the little technology, 3D printing, and all the other things that are possible. We established the Live Well Coalition, which I see a couple people here are part of it, and what's interesting about this is that we did this to create a collective vision for a healthy city. And to that end, we received awards from President Obama's wife, Michelle, 2 years ago for this initiative. We're doing this in conjunction with Cornell Cooperative, BOCES, Ulster Health Department, Institute for Family Health, and the Health Alliance. David Scarpino, thank you very much. Good friend and supporter not only of the city but this initiative. The purpose is to provide our residents with healthy lifestyle choices as to nutrition and as to recreation. So we connect, it's about living well, playing well, aging well, healing well. This group has even met with clergy, seniors, all the stakeholders in this community to try to connect them to living well in our city and what it has to offer.
When we return, more from Kingston Mayor Shayne Gallo's address. We'll be right back.